Hey everyone, so this is the KQL series for joins, and I apologize I didn't post any sooner, but I was working on some home automation stuff over the holidays, and I'll share those videos later on, but it's pretty cool stuff. We're going to go over, explanation of all the joins, as well as give you some live exercises and some stuff that you can actually follow along. So you're going to be able to get some hands-on exercises. So stay till the end and follow along with me, or just fast forward if you already know the joins. Okay? So let's talk about the type of joins. We have the inner unique, which is the most common type of join, or and the default. It's just the one that you run without any kind of specification, and it's going to be inner unique. Inner joins, we're going to talk also about left outer, right outer, full outer joins. We'll also talk about some left anti-joins, right anti-joins, and some semi-joins, okay? So when we talk about inner unique, that is the default join style, okay? And what happens is you have two tables and we're going to match a common column between both tables and then pull the rows from those tables and then merge it into one table, okay? And what that looks like is something like this, where we have a table on the left and a table on the right. So we have a left and right compared to, let's use the pipe as a way to separate it, okay? So table 1, pipe, take the results, join, table 2 on common column. So if you can imagine, you build a really nice query, you can pipe it and that becomes the left table. Then you do a right, you can pipe it to another table and you can do another query and that becomes the right table, and then you join it. Does that make sense? So this is the most common way to join tables using a common column, right? As you can see, you don't even have to specify that you want to do inner join. It's by default. So we're going to use a Star Wars example, and Luke is on the light side, Anakin's on the dark side, and we have table 2, and Luke is on, we have an M level, so that's an M level table and an alignment table. M level is the midichlorians level, and Luke has 25,000 and Anakin has 27,000, okay? And the common column between both of them is that name column, right? That's the same name in both tables. We merge it and we do a join, and now you have a table with both columns together. Does that make sense? This is the most common, and it's the easiest one to do. But there are use cases for the other, the developers didn't make other types of joins just to confuse you. There's use cases for those, and I'll explain it so you know when to use those particular types of joins. So an inner join. Inner join is different from inner unique, which was the default. Inner join will get all the records where the column matches, okay? So what does that look like? We're going to specify kind equals inner, okay, in between the join and the second table reference. And then we're going to have the same scenario, but we're going to add another row item to table 1, where Anakin, if you're looking at the name column, Anakin shows up twice, but he's on the light side and he was on the dark side, because some Star Wars fans are going to say, well, technically, Anakin wasn't on the light side all the time. He was on the light side and then he became dark because he became Darth Vader or something like that. So, yeah, so he was on both sides at one time, right? And table number 2 is the M level, and then that's the same thing, right? And the result of this one is you're going to have, again, reference to column, but because you're doing an inner join, you get 2 row entries for the left table. Does that make sense? With the first one, you only get 1 entry per name. You don't get both Anakin. If you were to run that type of query with the same scenario, Anakin wouldn't show up twice. Does that make sense? So there are use cases where you might want to get duplicates, and then sometimes you don't want to get duplicates, right? So the inner unique, it removes any duplication. Outer join. Outer join is a result of an outer join is going to be everything on the side you define. So if you used to say left outer join, I want all the rows from the left, but then I want to compare it to the right. And if there's I still want the results from the left and those rows, but then fill it with empty values, okay? So let's show you a scenario. Let's have, first, to write that statement, you would do kind equals left outer, okay? And the scenario would be Luke is on the light side, Anakin's on the light, and I'll just put myself, I'm on the light side too. And then table number 2, Luke is on with an M level of 25,000 Anakin, but as you can see, I don't have an M level. I'm not on the right table. So what would the result be? If you were to do an inner join, I would not show up there. But if you do a left outer join, I would show up there. But my M level would be empty. Does that make sense? So you still get the result, but you get an empty value. So there's times where you don't want to lose the rows on the left table, and this is the use case for that. Okay, and you could do the same thing for the right join. And when we go into the exercises, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it'll make more sense. Anti-join is just a not equals or, not match. There's times where you want to grab, for me, if I don't have an M level, maybe you just want to get me because I didn't match. And if that's the case, then an anti-join returns all records from the defined kind that don't match any records from the other side. Table 1, join, kind equals left anti. Table 2, on key. So what does that look like? We have table 1, and again, it's the same scenario as the prior example, but if you do an anti-join, you're going to get only me coming back as the result because you're looking for things that don't match on both tables, or particularly a left anti would be if any rows here doesn't have a matching element on the other table, then I want to get that result, right? Which in this case, I don't have an M level. Semi-join. So a semi-join returns all records from the defined kind and matches from the other side. Only columns from the defined kind are returned. Only columns from the defined side. So if you say left side, you do a left semi, you're only going to get the columns from the left side. You're not going to get the other columns. So this could be used where you want to match something from another table, but you don't really want the results from the other table. You just want to keep your columns and you want to filter it based off this example. So you would do this type of join. Does that make sense? So what would that look like? Well, when you do a table 1, you would specify kind equals left semi, or you could say right semi, and you would have, in the same example, we're all on the light side, Luke, Anakin, and me. And then table 2, Luke has an M level, Anakin has one, and I don't have one. But you want the results only from the left table, okay? And then what's going to happen is you get a merged table. You get the columns that for Luke and Anakin for those rows, and you get the alignment column, but you don't get the M level column because it's a semi-join. It's not a full, you don't want all the columns from the right table. You just want to compare it, and if there's no matches, I want that result. So now let's do some live exercises and test this out with the data sample I have. You're free to follow along or just mess around with the data sample and do your own things, okay? All right, let's jump into this. So if you don't already know, please go to this URL, and then you want to add cluster and just add my cluster. teachjing.westus.custo.windows.net. I'll put it here as well. Now, let's query this data set. So it's going to be the example database alignment. So let's do alignment, query it, and remember you have to select the database. Let's run it again. And I just added some extra people just to populate some data. So the same thing with M level or the MITO level, we're just going to go here, something like that, okay? So now that you know that, let's go ahead and join the tables. So let's do alignment, okay? We're going to pipe it. So remember, if you press enter, it'll just put a pipe. So you push alignment, you press enter, you'll have a pipe automatically. So we're going to do alignment, and then you press enter. It automatically puts the pipe for you. And then you're going to do join space on join MITO, which is the table 2 or the right table, on the key. And the key is going to be name, right? So this is going to be the default one. This is the inner unique join, okay? That is the default, okay? And you're going to get the results, and you're only going to have unique entries. Now let's do a inner join that's not unique. We just, doesn't matter if it's unique or not, we want the results. So that will be kind equals inner. Right between the two, the join and the table 2, that's where you're going to put it. And now you see Anakin, dark and light with 27,000. Okay? Now let's do a left outer join. Left outer, what's that going to do? Think about it before you do it. Before you press shift and press enter, what is this going to do? It's going to give you the result on the left side, and then if there's no matching entries on the right side, what will it be? Empty, right? Exactly as that. It's just going to be empty, okay? Let's do the right outer now. Let's do the other way. Now this is going to be taking results, all the rows from the right side, and if there's no matching entry on the left side, then it's going to be empty. Let's do full outer. Now, if we do left and right, what will full outer do? It's going to grab on both sides. So if there's no matching entries on the left or right, we get all the rows from both tables and just stick it into one table. And then if there's no matching entries, it's just populated as empty. Okay? Anti-join. So I'll just do a left anti-join. What do you think that would be again? It doesn't equal, right? So it doesn't equal. So if the left side, if we're doing a left anti-join, that means that if we don't have any matching entries on the right side, I want that result. So you're only going to get people that don't have M levels on the other table, right? If we go in the other direction, then we have people that, we don't know their alignment. We don't know if they're light or dark side. They're not in that table, right? Because you delete that. If you delete alignment, we just run it, you don't see those people here. Let's do a left semi. So let's change this to left semi. What do you think that will do? What do you think left semi would do? Remember, it's going to get the result and then only pull the columns from the left side, not the right side. And that I'm not on that list, right? Because I don't have an M level. So anybody that don't have M levels will not be on the list either. Right semi goes the other way. It will only get the right columns, not the left columns, the columns from the left table, okay? Right? And also, you're going to see this, and they're the same thing. Anti, left anti, and then Padawan, and then left anti-semi. It's the same thing. So you get the same results. Okay? And that's pretty much it for all the joins in regards to what we were talking about. There also someone requested about doing cross-cluster queries. So here's that example. So remember, I have a cluster name, and that's TeachJing.westus. So you're going to have to specify my cluster. That is the cluster of my databases, right? .westus. And I think this will work for you. You're going to do period database, and then from here, you want to reference examples. That's my examples database. It's just right here. And then you're going to do table alignment, right? And now you just have specified that table within another cluster. And then we can do this. We can do a pipe join on Mido on name. So let's just pretend that this resided in another cluster, or I believe you can run it and then have your own tables and then do something like that. So you can join tables across different clusters or databases or tables and join those. So if you have data on different areas, you would use this type of command to find those. Okay? All right, everyone. So please like and subscribe if you like this content. Let me know if there's anything else you want to learn more about. And thank you and stay safe.